Yes, Phyllis, can I ask you to get me the white tub from over there, please? And the Cristiano, my friend. The other one.
No.
Now, first, we must clean them.
Primo, Timpano, are you crazy? There's not the time.
And the second, you start the rabbit.
What's Timpano?
Primo, I have to be serious here. I mean,
What is
you can't...
Timpano?
Second, you tell me this is a big night.
No, what are we making here exactly?
Phyllis, go to call the plumber, please.
Call them already.
Phyllis, Timpano is a pasta.
No.
With a special crust.
No.
See?
No.
And is a shape like a drum.
No.
Like a timpani drum.
What are you doing? What did you do?
And the inside, all of the most important things in the world.
Yay, so, tonight, yes, at 9 o'clock, I'm starting sauce for Timpano. Because there's something wrong with me. It's going to be a long, drawn-out affair. A Timpano is essentially, how do I describe this? It's basically a big pastry shell full of, like, everything. So it's got like meatballs and sausage and boiled eggs, and I'm gonna have tortellini in there. I'm gonna have just different layers, different kinds of sauces. I'm gonna have caramelized onions. I'm gonna have like a layer of like Swiss chard, stuff like that. So there's all kinds of stuff in there. So there's a lot of things I gotta do between right now and when we go over to my in-laws' house, and hopefully it will meet my father-in-law's exacting standards for cuisine. So we've got a lot to do here. Tonight I'm just gonna be making the tomato sauce, the meatballs and sausage, probably the caramelized onion mushroom sauce, and that's all I'm gonna be doing tonight. So the first thing you're gonna start with is your tomatoes. We're going with the tomato sauce the first thing. Once the tomato sauce is on the stovetop and cooking, kind of simmer in there, then you can start working, making the meatballs and getting all those all shaped up and put in the oven and things like that. So we're starting with a great big honking can of San Marzano tomatoes. I went with San Marzano tomatoes because that's what all the guys on TV say you should use for tomato sauce. I know doodly squat about this. But I know there's San Marzano tomatoes and everyone's like, oh, San Marzano. So I'm doing San Marzano tomatoes. Usually I do like 2 things of plum tomatoes and then a couple of cans of crushed tomatoes for a big thing of sauce and then a little thing of tomato paste. But they had this great big can here. I was like, well, I'm getting all kinds of these. They don't have San Marzano crushed. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're opening up the can. Okay. The San Marzano tomatoes. These are whole plum tomatoes. The thing you want to do, start with you scooping them out. You want to crush these. So we scoop them out. So they got a lot of these are the whole tomatoes like this. So they come out like that. Okay, you can see there's not a lot of sauce left in the jar there. Take a look at that. Not a lot of sauce left in that. This is mostly the big crushed tomatoes. Now, like a lot of times what people do, they say, all right, we crush the tomatoes, you kind of squish them in your hands, you kind of crush them like that. And that's kind of gross, frankly. But you know what? It's the first time I've ever done that, and you know what? It actually is working really well. Hey, it's kind of fun the way it kind of squishes between your fingers there. I never would have thought of that. That's kind of cool. Hey, squishing the tomatoes. That was awesome. Okay. Yeah, so just do all you do now. You just take a couple of more cans, the same thing. You do that. We'll just scoop these out and just kind of, we'll squish them one at a time as we put them in there. We're about making a mess. Just keep on reaching in and just toss them in there. I really don't know why I pulled them all out separately. If all I was going to do was dump that juice right in there with it all, I don't know. So I'm just going to kind of squish them up in here and squish those. I suppose the tomatoes feel that at all, like maybe inside they're like screaming weird. So the first thing you're gonna do here is you get the heat going on your pot. I promise you that's a clean pot. And you're gonna get a little olive oil in there. You just kind of drizzle that around there, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna get some onions going in there. We're gonna get some onions and some carrots and some celery.
Stop running under.
of ways you can tell if the oil's gone. One, you can kind of get back like that, and you'll kind of see a little bit of a shimmer there once it's starting to get hot enough. Now you can just kind of go, and there you know you're ready to rock and roll. Just take and throw some onions in there. So you get your onions to stir those around. You're going to let those soften and get nice and golden for about 5 minutes. At which point, you're going to throw in carrots and celery. And because that looks a little bit dry, I think I'm going to throw in about a half a stick of butter. Time to mop my forehead again.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let I want the carrots and the celery to get nice and soft there. So once the vegetables are all done kind of sauteing, we are going to pour in about 2 cups of red wine. And a little bit of beef broth. All right, Charlie, come here. You think this is soft enough?
I think that's perfect.
Perfect?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. 100%, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go away. And we are going to let that get up to a nice simmer. Now, my cousin Ricky, he advised me in making tomato sauce to chiffonade the basil. And chiffonade the basils when you kind of roll it up and you kind of roll it up on the tight little. I had to look it up on the internet. You roll it up in a little thing like that, and then you kind of slice it across, and you do that. And if you do it just right, it'll take you approximately 6 hours to chiffonade all that basil. So I don't think so. We're just gonna scrunch it up and chop it. I've had some cookbooks that are like, you should tear it by hand, but I want it small. That looks pretty good. And we're gonna want some oregano in there. You don't want these woody stems in your tomato sauce. That is just silly. You need to do that. Wish I could do this sitting down like that great big chef of days gone by. I think it was Paul Prudhomme. He'd just sit on this, just great big round dude, and he'd just sit on this chair at the counter. He's just like, I'm too big to stand on my feet. I'm just gonna sit here and cook. I hope you don't mind. Please, he's like you walk in his kitchen, please excuse me if I don't get up. Alright, let's chop all that up. That's good. I'll stir that up a little bit. Looking pretty good. And we're gonna pour in all them tomatoes. This is gonna make a mess. Oh, don't tell my wife about this either. Okay, better. Actually, one thing we're gonna get the basil and the oregano in there. If I swirl it around long enough, will you start to get hypnotized? Like, that's good. Actually, also, I'm gonna throw in a palm full of garlic. Maybe a little more. I'm gonna grind a little pepper there too. I'm hesitant to throw in salt because I know canned tomatoes got a lot of salt. But there we go, I'm gonna do it. Oh, Bobby Flay! I almost forgot my tomato paste. And move this thing around like that. And you just kind of push it out like that. Doesn't that look appealing? Ooh, it's not the metal get in there. That looked gross. Double bubble, toil in trouble, cauldron burn and Barney rubble. I don't know how that thing goes. Okay, so we're gonna make the meatballs now. We're gonna get those rolling. To start with, I'm gonna make a kind of a little paste like you do for, you know, meatloaf or anything else like that, where you take a couple of slices of bread, you mix in a couple of eggs, and a little bit of milk, and you put all that together. And what we're going to do, we're going to add to it some Parmesan cheese. That's, you know, probably like 10 ounces of Parmesan cheese. Some garlic powder, because I'm too lazy to chop up fresh garlic, salt and pepper, and oregano. We're going to mix all that together and then add it to the meat. Kind of mash it all up. Down. So you got a nice little bread and cheese paste to mix in with the meat. That is really going to flavor the meat up. It's going to smell delicious. I did this like this a couple of months ago when I made some meatballs, and it was out of sight. So this should have the same effect. So I got my little paste all set to go. So I got 3 kinds of meat that we're going to do in here. Okay, I got a pound of ground beef, I have a pound of pork, and I have a pound of ground lamb. Some of you guys going, oh, lamb chop, I can never eat that. It's delicious. All right. So you're just going to take this and kind of like bust it up into pieces. Really, I should be using the back of another wooden spoon. Simon, come here, give me another wooden spoon, please. Thank you. Just kind of mash it up there. You don't want to mess with it too much, though. You like that? I like that grind there, but you want to make the meat to get mixed in. You want it to be kind of uniform, but I don't like messing with the meat too much and smush it together and packing it too tight. I like it to be a little bit loose, like with hamburger. But it's gonna get packed in a little more anyway when I put this stuff in here. But see, it kind of a uniform mixture there. That's what you do. Okay, and you kind of put your paste in there. Just kind of smush that in. And I'm actually going to throw in onion like that. I know it looks like it's big chunks, but it'll be good. It'll be fun to bite into that in the middle of the meatball. Mix all this up by hand. There's really no nice way to do it. It's not real appealing just putting your hands in raw meat like that. Oh, I can smell that. Oh, that's delicious. Oh, I'm very excited about that. Oh boy. So you just start shaping them up into little 1.5 inch balls. That's all you do. Big balls here. And voila, we have a grand total of 40 delicious Italian-style meatballs. Anyway, so we got our 40 meatballs here. We're just gonna take those and we are gonna get them in the oven at 350 degrees for, how long do I cook these for? 30 minutes, half an hour. 40 minutes at the most. I'll switch them halfway through. I'm going to turn to 400. I'm going to turn it down to 375. Timer. How long do I cook these for?
40 minutes.
40 minutes. That's too long. 30 minutes. They're going to be simmering in the sauce, you know, for the rest of the cooking of the sauce. I just need to kind of get them kind of cooked a little bit, you know, cook a little bit through, kind of browned off. Really what you're supposed to do is I'm supposed to be browning them, you know, in a skillet like that to get a nice crust on them, but
Ain't nobody got time for that.
anyways, so what are we doing now? I think it's time for my caramelized onions. But I don't have a recipe for that. So let's go look for a recipe. So I'm gonna start making some caramelized onions with mushrooms. I saw another guy do it. He said, I made a kind of a mushroom ragu. I don't know how to make a mushroom ragu. I don't know what that means. I don't even really know how to make caramelized onions. I just found a recipe and it's not exactly what I need. So I'm basically going to pretend I'm following it, but just do kind of whatever I think. So basically what you... is it rolling?
Yes.
Well then roll it! It's 11 o'clock and we're looking at the entire house. So, you stop talking. This is going to be in the outtakes. Leave it! It's good. Top shelf, top shelf. Oh.
Stop.
But you start off, you're going to get a little olive oil in there. I really love this thing. So you get some olive oil in there. You know, just some butter in there too. Don't worry about those breadcrumbs. You watch some highfalutin cooking shows, they tell you to let the foam subside. That's what they tell you. The butter will start to foam up. When the foam subsides, you know you're ready.
Oh, it's hot here.
It's the kitchen. There we go. Is that foam subsiding?
It is.
So, once the foam subsides, you put the onions in. I feel like it's a lot of onions.
Wow, that's a lot of onions.
I feel like I should have put that in a different pan. Look at that. So, meatballs are, they're all done. They've been there for half an hour, so they're all set. So we're going to turn the heat off there and pull those out and come take a look at them. Alright, we'll set those here. And not set the house on fire. Oh, I never switched those, did I? Oh well, it doesn't matter, they're fine. I'm just putting them in the sauce is all I'm going to do with these. So yeah, all you do is, I probably should leave one of these on. So all I'm going to do is just put them in the sauce and let them simmer in there for ever. No, not that long. Maybe just an hour or two. A couple hours. I want the sauce. The idea is you want the sauce to cook. So you want the sauce to cook down. If you can see, the level is dropping. It started off there, and it's, you know, the liquid's cooking off and cooking off. You want a nice, dense, thick sauce. Okay, so we just take these and I'm just gonna toss them in the sauce. One time, okay. It's gonna take a little while. I've got 40 meatballs here. I've never made sauce with San Marzano tomatoes before. Apparently there was an easier way to do it. Use a spoon. Yeah, I get that. Good. So, meatballs are all in the sauce, so we're just going to let that sauce simmer for...
Forever.
I don't know, another couple hours or so. And just let them finish off. Let all the flavors get to know each other. So what I just did here, I don't know if you can see here, but I just added a little less than a cup of brown broth and about maybe a half a cup of red wine to this stuff here. And we're just going to let this cook down for quite a while. Eventually, we're going to add some of some, fancy schmancy mushrooms I bought at Hannaford that weren't as fancy as I was hoping they were going to be. I had some crimini mushrooms and some shiitake mushrooms and some oyster mushrooms in there. It's like mostly like crimini. I think I might have like, one or two. There might be like an oyster mushroom in there somewhere. I don't know. I wasn't real thrilled when I opened the package. So anyway, yeah, that's where we're at there. We'll put those in there in a little bit once this stuff has really started cooking down. Okay, looks like we got these two dishes just about ready to go here. We're just going to let them cool off for a little bit. It's about 2:15 in the morning, and I think it's time to call it a something. Can't say call it a night, because it's long gone. Anyway, the caramelized onions are shaping up to be pretty good. I did not have a lot of confidence earlier on when they were cooking. They were about halfway through and I hadn't tasted them, and the smell was not what I had expected, and I wasn't sure how they were going to fly. Seemed like they're doing pretty good though. I tasted them when they were pretty well all done.
That's so good.
And they're pretty delicious. I'm just not sure if we're going to use them in the Timpano or not. I'll make that decision tomorrow. The tomato sauce is fantastic. I'm very excited about it. You can taste just a hint of the lamb in the sauce from the meatballs, so that's pretty good. So I think this is shaping up to be pretty good so far. We'll see how it goes tomorrow.
Mi sento allegro stamattina, ieri tutta la retta mera, tanta pesci e peschetta, e mi sento de griete. Uè, lo pesce dalla mera e treglia, le peschette stamattina.
Okay, so it's 7:45 in the morning. I really need to get this thing in the oven. And I just got up a half an hour ago, after about 5 hours of sleep. Maybe. So, first step we gotta do this morning is make the dough. We gotta make the dough. We're gonna have a big shell that's gonna fit inside the Dutch oven to put all the ingredients in and layer them step by step. So, we're gonna start with, we got flour, eggs, water, oil, salt for the dough. It's all going in this KitchenAid, which I have not used yet, and I've never used a dough cook before, so these are exciting times.
È scritto nel tuo cuore.
Here we go, the old dough hook.
Il mio destino. Anche se l'esistenza m'appellerà.
You think it'll pick up all that stuff on the bottom, or?
Probably will, because I ate
I think they're all set.
Voglio restare sempre a te vicino.
You can see now it's kind of forming into a nice cohesive ball of dough, looking pretty good. Okay, that's shaping up to be pretty good. We're gonna let that rest for a little bit while we get the pasta going. So we're gonna start the pasta now. We're doing some Celentano pasta. I want to do this one because it's all got this kind of little corkscrew appearance here, and so I think that'll kind of lend itself better to kind of absorbing some of the sauce and kind of fitting all together. You know, when you got the noodles there, they kind of mix all up. Ziti's fine, but I like these guys better when I'm doing something like this. Once that gets back up to boiling, we're going to let it run for about 6 minutes. When you're doing the pasta, you always cook it just halfway what the package instructions say if you're doing pasta for the timpano like this, because it's going to cook inside the pastry shell once you fill it up and bake it. So we're going to do some tricolor tortellini here also. We're going to do a layer of that. We got 2 bags of it here. We're going to cook these for about 2 or 3 minutes in a pot of boiling water as well. So now we gotta roll this bad boy out and roll the shell out. Now the shell needs to be pretty wide. It's gonna be about 30 inches. You gotta take into account the fact that it's gotta cover the bottom and the top of the Dutch oven and all around the sides. So we're looking at a diameter of about 30 inches here. So we're gonna roll it out to that.
Ti colmerei di perle dell'Oriente.
Again. And turn in your hands.
Oh,
And
okay.
the gravity helps.
Colmerei di perle.
Okay, once they do it with the restaurant, they're gonna go, ole! Oh, no, I'm not gonna do that. Let's see here. I'm looking at 6 and 12, 8, okay. This is not looking good. Yeah.
In cambio del tuo amore affascinante.
I think one of those rushed out fall.
6, 12, 18, let's see, so like 20. Boy, I only got to increase it by 50 more percent.
Saranno belle pure le sirene. Saranno belle.
That's a great big piece of dough. So now we're gonna get that shell into this and start filling it up. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna make sure you really lubricate the inside of the pan with butter and oil. If you don't do that, and this sticks to the pan, you're gonna have just a horrible result. It'll just all come apart and fall over the place. And that's the one thing you don't want. When you're all excited and you put this much work into it, and you're pulling the top off, you don't want the thing to fall apart. So I'm just gonna throw a bunch of olive oil in here, and take what's left of that butter. I'm just gonna smear all that around the inside. Smear it all around. Wipe it all around me.
E i miei lamenti.
What's that? No such thing as too much
Ma
butter.
il cuore mio non vive che di canti. Il cuore mio non
That's good.
vive.
So basically we gotta take this, we're gonna fold it in half and then fold it in half again and then drop it in the pot. So we just kinda take it, bring it along,
Che di
and fold it in half like that. And bring that up a little bit. And then do it again.
E il nostro
That's
amor
pretty
lo
round.
canto ai
Alright.
quattro venti. Da quando l'amor tuo il cuore m'accese sto coltivando viole, gigli e rose. Sto coltivando viole.
Nei miei sogni ancora ti rivedrò, dove tu sarai, con te sarò, e nell'aria e nelle cose tutte intorno a me ci sarai tu, soltanto tu, ancora tu. Sempre tu lo sai, ti attenderò. Se mi chiamerai, da te verrò. Finché un palpito di vita sentirò nel cuore, sarà per te, solo per te, amore. Se ci separò nella vita il destino, anche se lontano noi saremo vicini. Questo nostro amore è grande, non potrà morire. Se mi chiamerai, da te verrò. Finché un palpito di vita sentirò nel cuore, sarà per te, solo per te, amore.
Good, like that?
Put a lid on it, you said it, Bob.
Not right now, right now. You just let it go for about an hour like that. So, been in there for quite a while now, probably 2 or 3 hours. Ooh, it's boiling up. Okay. So there's a lot of liquid in that. That's a little bit concerning. And what's concerning about that is that that's going to make the shell kind of soft. And so I'm concerned that when I invert the thing and turn over, it's going to fall apart. Now it's all cooked through, so that I'm not worried about. It's cooked, but that gives me pause. We'll see how it goes. We'll let it cool off for a few hours, and I guess we'll just have to see what happens.
No, save this one for Louis prima. Ok?
Ok. Caccia le mani. Maybe too hot still.
No, we have to serve now. I mean,
Okay. Okay.
no, wait. Cut at the table.
Okay.
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 I worry it's gonna be too hot. It's going to fall apart.
That's why I say it's too hot.
No. We don't have time for too hot. Let's go. Come on. Christian, open the door.
Here we go. Oh. I really should have. Sometimes when I loosen it around,
I think it's gonna come off. You better.
Here we go. Let's kind of twist this way a little bit. Ready?
Yep.
Ooh, I don't know. I think it's gonna fall apart.
Can you just pick it back up with the board and run a knife around it?
I can try. I might, yeah, maybe that's my probably best bet here. Let's try that. Let's bring it back. Oof. Alright. The good thing is I don't see any liquid leaking out, which that's kind of a good sign. Yeah, something like that. That'd be perfect. Let's try that. It just didn't feel like it was coming loose at all.
Is it coming down?
On the spatula. So maybe it's just loosening now. Let's see. Maybe it was just kind of stuck to it. It smells great though. Alright. Alright. Let's try it again. Is this how I did it? Alright. Try it again. Ready? Oh, here we come. You ready? Here we go.
He thinks what?
Oh, that's making me a little nervous there. There we go. I think it's the fact that we... I think it's not... Oh, no. It's not cut all the way somehow. There we go. Yeah, but it's not coming. I don't think it's all gonna come out. That's not bad, though. That's not bad. Come on, all right.
When you eat it, it's gonna. Johnny, you like lemon?
Oh, maybe we should have brought the sauce.
It's alright. No, it looks like no. There's
too?
sauce in it. Oh, it's got everything in it.
Is it still? Was that eggs?
It's still steamy inside.
Yeah. No.
There's boiled eggs.
Boiled
eggs, yes. That looks good.
It is good when you just take it right up. No one's gonna have mom to it. Oh my god. Okay, Daddy, what do you have to say? This.
I'm glad it didn't all fall to pieces.